this is Coast Crew 1, and today I will be ranking my top 10 favorite B&Ms. Let us start out with some honorable mentions. These are Georgia Scorcher, Manta, Thunderbird, and Kraken. All these rides are super fun and in my top 30, so 14 of my top 30 are all B&Ms. Let's start out with my number 10. At my number 10, I have Batman the Ride at Six Flags Over Georgia. This is a non-stop ride. It is super intense and never lets up for the entire ride except for that section before the first corkscrew. It is pretty short but hauls. At 9 we have Afterburn. It is non-stop like a Batman the Ride clone, but longer. The Batwing is the best element and is amazing. There's only one section like on Batman the Ride, one slow section. It is that little hill after the Batwing. At number 8, we have Intimidator. Now, Afterburn and this are back to back in my rankings. I go back and forth on which I like more. This is my least favorite B&M Hyper. It is still really fun though. It has some really nice floater airtime and it is pretty long as well. My favorite element is the hill and the twisting drop right after the first drop. The main problem with this ride is in the front. You get a boring drop that doesn't even give airtime, but you get airtime on all the other hills. In the back, however, you get an awesome drop, but there's almost no airtime on the hills. At number 7 is another B&M Hyper, Goliath at Six Flags Over Georgia. This is a very special coaster for me. On some days, the airtime is almost as good as Fury's. The airtime is very sustained on this ride. Also, the drop is great. The 9-row train also adds to the ride's capacity and ride experience. Plus, the Helix adds a nice standout element. It is special to me because this is the coaster that got me into coasters, and it was my favorite coaster for like 3 years. At number 6, we have Diamondback at Kings Island. This has almost ejector over every hill. The back row is great on this, unlike Intimidator. This is pretty much Intimidator if it had flowjector and great in every row and less trims. I love the splashdown as well. At 5 is Banshee. This ride gets a lot of hate, but I've never understood it. It is the smoothest invert I have ridden and is huge as well. Sure, overall it's not as intense as the other inverts I've ridden, but the bottom of the inversions are so drawn out that the forces are sustained for forever. I feel like it's a mix of a wing coaster and invert because it's floatier than an invert, but more intense than wing. Plus the drop in the back row is amazing. At 4, we have Montu, my favorite inverted coaster. This thing is so long, intense, whippy, and fast. This feels like the size of Banshee, but more intense. The trenches are also super cool as well. There's also a fair bit of theming around it too. It is non-stop like Batman the Ride or Afterburn, but also almost the size of Banshee. The Batwing on here is way more whippy and intense than Afterburn's. At number 3, we have my favorite B&M Hyper, Mako. This is Diamondback with full-on ejector over every hill in the front row, plus a speed hill. Love the colors of this coaster as well. The pacing is great, intensity is good, airtime is amazing, and it had a great setting. It is like all the hypers were combined with Fury. It's just kind of like a mini Fury, as I call it. At 2, we have Kumba. I love this coaster so much. It has non-stop intensity, beautiful colors, and some surprisingly great airtime moments. It also has a great setting. This coaster never has a break from start to finish. There's actually airtime coming out of the 0G roll and another moment on the dip before the Cobra roll. The 0G roll on this coaster is the best inversion I've ever experienced. Finally, at number 1, we have 95% of people's favorite B&M, Fury 325. It is tall, fast, and intense. It has some great positive G moments as well as negative. My favorite elements are the airtime hills at the end. They give a very unique feeling of airtime. The drop over banks, turns, and high dive / treble clef are also incredible. There isn't a dull moment on this awesome ride. Thank you for watching. Hope you enjoyed. See you next time. Bye.